This is the Scoop Slam Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Scoop Slam Podcast. We're here once again. We're reviewing Fastlane, and we're going to be talking about the Tuesday Night War and Tony Khan's tirade on Twitter. But before we get too far into it, let me introduce my co-host. He is the historian of the Scoop Slam Podcast, but I don't have any trivia for him today. It's Ryan.
Yo, Micah. Great to be back here with you, buddy. Ready to talk about Fastlane and whatever else we watched this week. It was a long week, man.
Yeah, and we're trying to catch up, but we're actually here at an appropriate time for once.
Yeah.
Typically it's 1 a.m., but sometimes that's when our best thoughts come out. Before we get too far into it, let me go ahead and talk about the giveaway that we're running on our social media right now. So to celebrate us getting 1,000 listeners, which we haven't reached yet, but we're coming up on in the next week or so, me and Ryan have both pitched together to do a $30 gift card giveaway to either WWE Shop, AEW Shop, or Shop AEW, or Pro Wrestling Tees, whichever you prefer. $30. All you got to do, go to the post on Twitter or Instagram, like the photo, comment, done, tag a friend, and follow us, and you're entered. For another entry, you can either post on your story or comment on that same Twitter thread with a picture that you've subscribed to us on Apple Podcast or Spotify. So there's a way to get 2 entries, or you can just do the one if you feel like doing that. But either way, it's going to end on October 27th, and then we're going to release the winner on October 28th. And this is just a way for us to give back to you guys. We appreciate you listening. Like I said, we're coming up on 1,000, and that's pretty crazy. We've been doing this for probably, if you actually count up all the episodes, probably a year. But I know we started back in, was it 2021?
Nah, it was 2022. I think it was before SummerSlam 2022, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, because
Around July.
Ric Flair's last match was the one that we went to, and we had just started the podcast.
Yeah, I think it was around July when we started.
So we're a little over a year, but we took a couple hiatuses in between, so
Got us hot again. It took a little time to rest up and come back better, stronger than ever. And I think we're doing our best shows now all of a sudden, Micah.
I think so. I think the listeners are reflecting that too. We're catching our groove, and we're trying to be more consistent with the schedule because, man, life comes at you fast.
Yeah, we're not gonna make any promises we can't keep.
Yeah. And speaking of the schedule, we're trying to catch up. So we're a week behind, but the weekend before last was WWE Fastlane. It was in Indianapolis, Indiana. Easy for me to say. And it was a 5-match card, I believe. Small pay-per-view. C-show.
Whoa. PLE.
Oh, here we go. Got to get your terminology right. Well, I guess I'll have to call it a PLE after Survivor Series.
Of course. We're ready for you, Mike.
You gonna knight me again?
Of course. Yeah, you're gonna have to wear your favorite CM Punk t-shirt while you get knighted too.
Well, I would have worn my favorite CM Punk t-shirt, but alas, my dog thought better of it. There goes $40.
Dog, a Young Bucks fan, I see.
Yeah, I had to put her down.
Oh,
but
man. Jeez.
Nah, I'm just playing. But I was pretty hot about it. Yeah, I ordered something from a guy called Stash Pages on Instagram. Go check him out. He's got some really good stuff. Came in Thursday, wore it Saturday, sat it in the floor, woke up Sunday morning, had a hole in it, right in the center. So I was like, nice. This, I'll never wear this again, and I'm not going to buy another one for $80 for a t-shirt. So, I'm good.
Jeez.
Well, shipping, economy. It's 2023, Ryan.
$80 is crazy though. What kind of
Not,
t-shirt? Was it limited edition?
no, it was 40, but I'm saying if I had to buy it twice.
I get you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You can probably get like a Santino Marella t-shirt on sale, like $5 on the Impact Shop.
Yeah, but then I would have to want a Santino Marella t-shirt.
Okay, you got a point.
Who's buying that?
Well, yeah, I'm sure Vladimir Kozlov has probably bought him a couple. They're friends.
He came back this week. I saw that on Twitter.
I thought he was already there.
I didn't think he was. I forgot he existed.
What? You don't remember his SummerSlam match with Triple H?
Oh my god. Why did they push him so heavy?
I remember him beating The Undertaker live on SmackDown. Well, not live, but on SmackDown, the only person to do that.
The only person to do that?
He's the only person to beat Undertaker on SmackDown clean.
Oh my god. I remember him beating Undertaker, but I didn't know he was the only person to do it on SmackDown clean.
The only person. If somebody can tell me who else did it, I'd be happy to find out. But as far as I remember, he was the only person to ever beat Undertaker on SmackDown clean. And it was so surprising because he was so bland to me.
Name your favorite Vladimir Kozlov promo.
That's what people were comparing Gunther to when he first showed up. I'm like,
no.
Let's not do that.
No, Gunther's 10 times the worker Vladimir Kozlov ever was.
That might be generous towards Kozlov
there. Yeah, nah. Gunther is nowhere near the realm. Like, Gunther is future world champion. I never saw that with Kozlov, even as like a 10-year-old kid.
Him and Khali, I never got.
Ali, I could kind of understand, just because he was big. He kind of had like I don't know. You kind of had to look at him.
He was big, but what else he had? You could barely move in the ring.
Well, let me say this. Have you ever seen some of his old Japan stuff?
Oh, yes, night and day.
Dude, that's so weird. I was like, if you've never seen that and you're listening to the podcast, go look it up. There's some clips of Khali, and he's doing like freaking drop kicks and crap.
He's jumping over the top. He's jumping over the top rope.
It's just strange because even like Satnam to me isn't. He don't move that well, and he's not that old or anything.
Well, we wouldn't know because he's never in the ring. Any one-on-one matches he's had.
Oh,
none.
I guess you got a point.
He's had nothing. They have him on the roster just to be tall. He does that well.
Well, I mean, I would say a lot of guys do that, but not in AEW.
Yeah, I'm about to say. Well, NXT, not a lot of guys do that.
Yeah, well, you got a point. Why the NBA players are getting taller and the wrestlers are shrinking?
Oh yeah, man! You seen Victor Wembanyama the other day?
Oh my God, he looked like young KD out there.
He's like a creative player. Like
I was kind of worried because in the preseason he looked a little buns. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, looked deer in headlights in the preseason, but right now he looks like a creative player with like the sliders juiced all the way up. 7'4" guys should not move like that.
I don't know what factory he was bred in.
They need to patch that update.
But even Brandon Miller looked pretty good too. He had a nasty poster.
He's gonna be a good shooter regardless.
Yeah. Oh come. It slid by me for a minute. I ain't even gonna lie. Nah, he didn't do that.
Sure. What gun?
I heard he was the assist leader though. Anyways, before we get in too much trouble, let's talk about some other guys who were getting themselves in trouble at a press conference.
Uh-oh.
Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus the Judgment Day to open up Fastlane for both of the tag team titles. So this one was thrown together on the Raw team up to face the Judgment Day. So to start us off, we got our scoops, we got our slams for Fastlane, as we do for all of our pay-per-views or PLEs, whatever you prefer to call them. And to start us off, this is your first time listening, scoops are a positive, slams are a negative. So Ryan, what's your first scoop for Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus the Judgment Day?
Man, I really didn't have much for this match, Micah. I just had thoughts. Excuse me. I only got one scoop, and that is Cody has the most random list of people he's won tag titles with. You want to take a guess on who Cody Rhodes has won titles with?
All right, let me think here. So
he's won it with how many guys? Let me count. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, give me a broad
4,
number.
5, 6, 7 different superstars he's won tag titles with, including developmental.
Okay. Oh, okay. So let me think about main roster first. I know Hardcore Holly.
Yep.
Ted DiBiase.
Sure. And do you remember how he won with Ted DiBiase the first time?
Oh yeah, he beat himself.
Pause. But yeah, he did do that.
I'm not just talking about when he was in high school. Kofi Kingston.
No.
No? Okay. No, that was Punk. Okay. Gold Dust.
Yeah.
Damian Sandow.
Uh-huh. Need 2 more. Jey Uso, of course, but you need 2 more names.
Wow. Who else did he team with?
It's
Developmental
random.
included?
Yeah. That one's even more random.
Do I know the guy, or can I get a hint?
Okay, one guy is currently still wrestling in WWE, and the other guy is in AEW. The guy he won the titles with in AEW, he won with in OVW as well.
Okay. I don't know. I don't even. Yeah, just tell me. I don't even have a guess.
It's Shawn Spears. He won tag titles with in OVW, and Drew McIntyre. He won titles with in WWE.
Yeah, I have zero. Obviously, I don't remember the Shawn Spears one, and that was definitely not going to be my guess. But I don't ever remember him and Drew winning the. Who did they beat?
I don't know. It's probably in that weird era of WWE, like 2010, 2011. We're just random guys with team. Remember John Cena and David Otunga was tag champions?
Yeah. Oh, they were
Weird.
the dashing ones.
Okay.
Yeah. You can
So
put that on the
2011.
marquee.
2011, I guess.
Yep. Here we go. They qualified as number 1 contenders by winning a non-title match on SmackDown against the then champions, the Hart Dynasty. They then beat the Dynasty at Night of Champions 2010.
Yeah, I don't remember that. 2010 WWE was kind of a down period for me.
Yeah.
That was the guest host
here we go.
era. Whoa,
Do you remember Apple?
Oh, you talking about the knockoff core? Yeah, I remember that. Santino and who else was in it? Kofi. Was it Evan Bourne was in it? No?
Evan Bourne was in it. No Kofi.
Kozlov, was he in it?
Nope.
Wait a minute, didn't they have the Big Show? They wrestled them at WrestleMania, right? The core. They wrestled the core at WrestleMania?
Let's see here. No, I don't think so. It was just on Raw.
So who was in the Apple?
Okay, it was Santino, Mark Henry, Daniel Bryan, and Evan Bourne.
Oh my God. Was this just a one-off? I
Yep.
vaguely remember this.
Yeah, it happened for one night to avenge the injured Vladimir Kozlov. They challenged the core on Raw after Santino had repeated his WrestleMania victory over the core with Kane and the Big Show the preceding SmackDown. They lost their first match when Santino was pinned by Heath Slater after receiving a boot in the back of the head. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
My God. That was down point for me, definitely. Did you
What other
like
podcast?
Santino?
Oh, nah, no, not really. Even as a kid, it was like real hokey to me. Now, when he first debuted, I was interested a little bit, but especially when he started doing like the Cobra thing and like Santina at WrestleMania, that was when I was like, okay, you lost me.
Way too cartoony for me. Even as an 11-year-old, I thought it was corny as heck. That's when I started
Hmm.
losing a little interest too with the product. That 2010, 2009 era. But what were you saying about the podcast? What were you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say, what other podcast would talk about the Apple? None.
Yeah, that was your favorite era, wasn't it?
No, that was just the era I grew up on.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah. See, okay. The thing about the Ghost Hest, it's gonna be a show.
All
It
right.
certainly is gonna be a show. The guest host era
Oh,
was,
okay.
as a kid, I didn't hate it all the time, but looking back, I'm like,
Hmm.
it was a choice. Or like the what do they call the computer?
Oh, the anonymous Raw GM.
Yeah, I didn't hate that as a kid.
It was there. It was definitely better than guest host stuff.
Now the payoff was garbage,
Oh, of course, Hornswoggle.
and I even thought that as a kid.
Remember they brought it back a few times, and they never mentioned Hornswoggle was behind it anymore.
Yeah, didn't they do it for one of the Raw anniversaries or whatever?
Yeah, didn't make much sense.
Oh.
Terrible payoff.
Anyways, rounding out your point about Cody winning the titles for his 7th time, you said?
Yeah, 7 different partners.
That's pretty crazy, especially considering like the only official tag team was what? Like, I mean, obviously him and Sandow, him and Goldust, but like him and Ted DiBiase is the one that sticks out to me the most.
I thought Ted DiBiase was going to be him.
I did too.
I didn't see much with Cody Rhodes with his no knee pads, skinny legs era.
Oh God, don't remind me. Why? It's like that picture of Triple H with no knee pads. You just look naked.
Yeah, I think they're skinny legs,
Probably.
just like Hobbs.
Oh, come on now.
Just saying.
Catching a stray for no reason. Um, One of the scoops I had was just the hot tag to Cody. I thought was really good. The people, as much crap as I've given them about, I still don't think what they did at WrestleMania was the right decision. They've managed to keep Cody in the goodwill of the people, so I have to
Yeah,
at least commend them for that.
yeah, he's over. He's over. Even on SmackDown, they had he got some loud reactions against the Tribal Chief, but we'll talk about that next week, probably.
Yeah. I hadn't watched it fully yet, but I did see a couple clips. You care if I hit you with two more real quick?
Yeah, double it down.
All right. Um, Corey had a quote that when Rhea was trying to distract Jay, he said, Jay cannot be tempted by this succubus if they want to win the titles. And I don't know why the word succubus was the word that he chose for Rhea Ripley, but I don't know. It cracked me up.
It fit.
Corey's got good one-liners like that. As much as I used to hate him, he's not that bad anymore.
Yeah, it depends on who he's working with. He works way better with Michael Cole than Kevin Patrick. When he was
Yeah,
working with Kevin Patrick, he was having to do a lot of heavy lifting.
that's true. And I feel like that like made him worse, which isn't his fault, but uh, I don't know. On when it was him and Kevin Patrick on Raw, it was very dry. Um I'm not going to say he's in the top half of my favorite announcers right now, but he's not awful.
Yeah, he's better as a color guy too. Like when he was with
Yeah.
Kevin Patrick, he was having to do play by play and color on most nights because Kevin Patrick is so soft spoken and has few words to say while he's trying to be the play by play guy. And I never liked that.
He's like if Tony Schiavone didn't have like the 30 years of doing WCW before, so he's like slightly a legend.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
But the other scoop I had was I'm I'm liking the direction they're going with Cody and Jay winning the titles. It's something different, and I wasn't expecting it at all. I for sure thought Judgment Day was going to retain. They were just going to cheat or whatever. But especially like when you saw them at the press conference, and I'm sure this is going to kind of bleed into the shows a little bit. It kind of just seems like they're having fun. I don't know. It adds another layer into the Cody story and the Jay moving to Raw. The whole bloodline thing this ties in. So, I'm still with them on the ride, I guess.
And it gives Cody and Jay a ticket to SmackDown now.
Yeah.
Which is good for both shows to have two big stars like that on SmackDown.
Yeah, because I'd say Jay's arguably in the top 5 of like the biggest names they have right now. In terms, not including like Cena.
He's supposedly moving a lot of merch too. Did you see that story where he's one of the top 3 merch sellers now?
Wow. No, I really didn't, but I'm happy for him.
It's crazy. The bloodline, it did a lot of good for Jey Uso. It put him in the upper echelon of main event guys. I think he has benefited the most from the bloodline storyline, along with Sami Zayn.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think you don't think Roman has benefited the most?
Well, yes, but that, you know what I mean, other than Roman.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't even talking about necessarily from like a statistical standpoint of like he's the big, the longest reigning champion. But I mean, like, I don't know. To me and you, would Roman Reigns have ever been anywhere near like close to our favorite in 2018? No. But now this run, aside from this past year, just because he hadn't actually been on TV and that kind of pisses me off a little bit, but the tribal chief run really helped his, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Status, I guess.
It helped his status and the company's status. Like, they're doing the best business they've ever done. Micah, they sold for what, $7 billion with Roman on top.
Yeah.
I don't want to say he's the cause of the boom period, but he's definitely has like maybe 60% of why they're in a boom period of the whole bloodline storyline stuff.
He's a big piece of it for sure.
Yeah. I think when the whole bloodline stuff is over, I'm worried about Solo. I don't know where he goes after this.
It depends if Paul stays with him, but I just don't know like how good he is on the mic because he never talks.
I'd rather Paul be with Braun Breaker.
Yeah, definitely after this week, which we'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah.
I don't see.
I mean, do you think he could be like a Umaga? I mean, I hate
too small
to say that.
Way too small. He's not. He's intimidating because he's a Samoan, but is he like Jacob Fatu intimidating? Nah, I don't think so.
Nah, Jacob Fatu could easily be like a 2019-ish like Samoa Joe, where he's not necessarily the world champion, but he's like on the cusp of it.
Yeah. Solo is. I'm not seeing it right now, especially in the ring. He doesn't fit that
though.
Yes, I ain't gonna bury his theme song, but he's gonna have to do a lot of proving himself when the bloodline stuff is over.
Yeah. And who knows when it will be because they're only in the 3rd inning. But did you have any scoops or any other scoops for this one?
Nah, I just like the direction they're going in. I didn't really have any slams. I thought the little finisher they had was pretty cool. Did you see that? Where Cody did the how would you
I
describe
had a slam kind of for it.
Oh man, you didn't like it?
Well, I would describe it as a half 1D into a Cody cutter or like a reverse team 3D almost.
It looked cool. You like it?
No, I did, but why couldn't Cody pin him after that? But no, tag finish don't work for Cody, brother. He's got to get his stuff in.
They did the same thing on SmackDown too, except they hit it a lot worse. It was bad.
Yeah, I did see that he about rolled up on his neck. But why? Why not just pin him after that? It's overkill. Same when he does like 18 crossroads to win the match. Like why can one not just be enough?
Well, that's modern wrestling, brother. If you don't like that, you don't like modern wrestling.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. Like that. As much as I don't like Kenny, when Kenny hits the One Wing Angel, it's over.
But he lands on his. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, why does he feel the need to have to hit 8?
I don't have a good answer for you. Well, Kenny Omega's matches are he lands on his head 8 times, kicks out of all that.
Well, I mean, I guess you got a point. I don't know. When Punk hits the GTS, he ain't got to hit it 4 times.
Yeah, but that's CM Punk. He maps his matches out a little different than these modern guys.
Well, Cody is a modern guy. The only other thing I had was I don't love Jay kicking out of the briefcase shot. It's not a big deal. Like both of these are just little small stuff, but I don't know. Just little stuff like that bothers me because then, next week Damian Priest is going to hit somebody with a briefcase and he's going to pin him. Why did it not work this night?
I've seen a lot of that lately. I think Edge had a steel chair shot and he kicked out of that. He got hit with it in the corner. But yeah, that's just modern wrestling, man. You remember when Hangman got hit with the belt and he kicked out?
Yep.
So it's just modern wrestling.
He got hit with something else in that Texas death match with Moxley too that I thought was stupid. I just don't remember what it was now.
Screwdriver?
Something like that, or like brass knuckles, or it was something stupid.
Modern wrestling.
Yeah. Overall, I think it's a good idea to give him the belt. Match was solid. I will say this. You notice how they weren't just running in the ring for 20 minutes, doing their moves and running out, and the people were still up for the whole match?
Yeah. What a concept.
Crazy how that works, right?
Could have fooled me. I thought you had to all be in the ring at the same time, Micah, and I thought that you didn't care about tag rules and the 5 count and DQs being implemented in the match. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought you could just do that all match.
I know. I thought we could just bury the referee. Like what? Just have him stand in the corner.
There's referees?
It's a good question.
I don't know the referee. Unless it's Aubrey Edwards in there.
Oh man, that picture you sent me the other day. I was looking at it for a second because I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh no.
I sent him a picture of Hogan and Rock doing a stare down, and Aubrey Edwards is just in the shot in the background.
She did that with one of the, like, straight up did that exact thing. Was it Danielson and Omega? Or
Yep, it was. So she does.
Oh,
She had to put herself in the video game, too.
If nobody tells her not to, then where would she get the impression not to?
Oh, man. Let's not turn this podcast into just an AEW burial just yet. Let's get back to Fastlane.
All right. Street Profits and Bobby Lashley, because they don't have a group name yet, versus the LWO in a 6-man match that I completely forgot about. I'm not going to do anything too crazy for this. I got 2 scoops real quick. I like Dawkins' new gear a lot better than the gym shorts he has. It fits more.
Oh, man. I got a slam for that.
Really?
I thought he looked like Goldust out there.
Oh, man. I thought it reminded me of the old Christian gear, you remember?
That was
because sometimes straps with pants looks weird.
Yeah, I didn't like that gear either, but I think it was the gold and black, and it kind of looked weird after he's been wearing the gym shorts for a long time.
I think I don't know. Maybe if he went to like a singlet, it might not be bad.
Just put him in some trunks, man. Why you got to complicate things? He's not in bad
Well,
shape.
he's really not, but maybe he I don't know, maybe he's got skinny legs and he don't want you making fun of him like you seem to do.
He probably got like small nipples or something. I want to show that off.
Anyway, some guys are self-conscious about that kind of thing.
Hey, bro, I got small nipples too. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Well, the only other thing I had, Carlito looks pretty good. I was glad to see him back after we heard for months that he got signed and nothing ever happened with him. But yeah, I mean, he's still in good shape, and he still is he's like 38, isn't he?
Whoa,
pretty young.
Whoa. He is in great shape. He didn't look like that when I last seen him in 2010.
No, he was skinny fat.
I don't know. He's on. Him and Chris Masters are good friends. I'm sure he knows a guy that went to the same guy that Chris goes to. But yeah, he looked in great shape. Looked the same, except he was twice the size of Carlito.
Like he ate Carlito.
Yeah, exactly. I think I wrote down as a slam for the LWO not coming out there to help Ray, but I think they got hurt or storyline hurt on the SmackDown before that, and I forgot about it. But that is one of my slams. I put the hell happened to the LWO? They never come out with Ray, but apparently they were storyline hurt, so that's the reason.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that either. I probably skimmed through it. When I was skimming through SmackDown, I probably missed it.
Yeah, I usually skip when they aren't too late.
Oh, man, I didn't mean all that.
Well, got spade to spade here on the Scoop Slam podcast.
The LWO that run in kind of ties in with this. Why would they change Carlito's theme song?
I don't know. I don't know. I can't give you a good answer.
Especially on a return pop too, because like nothing on the show has led you to believe that Carlito was coming back.
Yeah. Well, hold up now. You saw it was a 6-man advertised, and they said it wasn't going to be any of the LWO members. So you kind of they had signs already made up for Carlito, Micah. So I'm sure people did expect him coming back.
I mean, I'm sure if you're on the dirt sheets, but if I just watched the show, I wouldn't have had any idea who they were going to get.
Yeah,
not a guy Alberto Del Rio.
But if you're a younger fan, you didn't see Carlito in his prime, so I guess it's a way to reintroduce him to the audience by having new music. And did you know that Carlito is younger than Rey Mysterio and Lashley?
I figured he was younger than Rey Mysterio, but I didn't know that he was younger than Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, he's like 7 years younger than Lashley.
How is he like early 40s?
Who, Carlito? I think he's like 38, 39.
Yeah. Wow.
Look that up.
Look
that up.
Nope, he's 44.
Carlito's 44?
Yeah.
Wow. Doesn't look it. But still, though, yeah, he's younger than Lashley.
And so how old's Bobby Lashley? Like 50? I
think he's like 46, 45, something like that.
Dang, he looks pretty good for his age, too. Which, I mean, that's kind of the age we're in now. Most of the guys who, like, I don't know, Hogan was like 50, and he was like, oh, yeah, you could tell he was getting kind of old. But Lashley, he still looks...
Well, hold up. Now, Hogan's looked the same for the last 20 years, for real.
Well, I guess you got a point. He just started to sag a little bit.
Yeah. Ric Flair looked old in the early 90s.
Oh, Jesus. I saw something the other day. I don't know if you saw the Iron Claw trailer.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I think it is going to be pretty good. I'm hyped to see it. But they had Ric Flair in there for like a brief 2-second thing. And somebody said on TikTok, they were like, did I send it to you? I don't remember if I did.
I seen the video you're talking about, so I know where you're going with it.
Yeah. They were like, man, we gotta quit making Ric Flair handsome. In like handsome washing, I think was the verbiage
Yeah.
she used.
Yeah.
She was like, he has been 45 since 1983, and he still wrestled for another 20 years after that. So, I don't know. It just cracked me up. But yeah, think about that. How old Ric Flair looked then, and look at Bobby Lashley now, or even like Dolph. Dolph is like 45 or something like that.
Like AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
The only other slam I had for this one, I don't love the Profits and Bobby losing this early, but I understand Carlito was coming back, so I can give him a pass for it, but I felt like I at least had to mention it.
I thought Carlito arriving late to the match was kind of a slam. Did fight get delayed? What happened?
Yeah.
He came to the building with his gear on. What happened there?
Well,
Yeah.
they were in Indianapolis. It's a
Okay.
busy city.
Okay.
The wind was heavy that night.
Sure.
Maybe his flight from Puerto Rico was delayed.
Okay. All right. And he finally got there at just the right time of the match.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's like the TV show Plot Magic.
That didn't make much sense to me, but I see why they did it. I just don't think it was needed. You could have still got the same pop at the beginning of the match to just have him come out with the LWO, but I don't know.
Nah, I agree. That's the WWE world and how they do those, even if I disagree with it.
Well, AEW has that too. Remember when Edge came out towards the end of the pay-per-view with a video package lined up? Like, you had all that planned out while your guy's about to get paralyzed in the ring by a steel chair. Like, just come on out, bro. No reason to wait back there.
I don't like that. I did not like the video package. I mean, it was cool.
Was it?
It was a cool moment, but when you really think about it, it's like, why could he not just run out there?
Why would you stop while you're about to commit violence to somebody to watch a video package? Why would you do that, Micah?
Well, you got to make sure that it's not the cops telling you you're going to be arrested.
I like Montez playing the whole heel character right now. I'm digging that. I thought he stood out a lot in this match.
Well, I'm always big on Montez. I'm not gonna lie, like the match was all right, but I don't know. I kind of wish that the Profits and Bobby were in something a little more main event. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I'm sure they're gonna get more screen time towards Survivor Series because they might be in the whole War Game situation.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I agree with you. I think Montez, as a heel, it's improving because then too you got to think long term. A lot of times when guys go heel, they end up being better baby faces after. So he's learning the heel stuff, and overall, it's just going to make him better for the future.
Yeah, he has it though. If he ever splits off from not from Montez, if Montez ever splits off from Dawkins, what I was trying to say, he'll do just fine.
Yeah. Is that all you had for the Street Profits and Bobby?
Yeah, we can move on.
All right.
We can skip 2 matches if you want to.
Yeah, well, I was about to say.
I saw it.
I got a scoop and a slam, but like you said, it was on.
Yeah.
And I honestly kind of had higher hopes for it, but
Did you?
I was watching it and I was like, is there anything I can really say?
I sat there.
That's what I think that you, the listener, almost don't understand sometimes is like, it's really hard to write something for everything sometimes, because sometimes it's just there.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
It's just a regular match. Like, are we just supposed to point out how good a scoop slam looked? I guess, but there's only so much we can do for a match if it's not giving us anything back.
Yep. And so that's why we kind of moved to this format now, which we do go a little more in depth for the big shows, but in terms of the TV, no, we just talk about what we like because if you listen to our old stuff, it's just yep, Piper Niven versus Nia Jax.
Oh man, can you imagine? We have a lot of slams
when worlds collide. But for the SmackDown, this is the WWE Women's Championship. Io Sky versus Asuka versus Charlotte.
Yeah.
I go ahead with my scoop. I thought the finish was cool.
No, that's the same thing I got from my scoop. It's a cool ending.
No.
That's it.
Well, maybe we were just glad it was over.
Yeah.
She basically Io climbed up top as Charlotte had Asuka in the figure 8, and she hit a moonsault onto Charlotte, and Charlotte kind of just crumbled. And I thought that was cool, a good way to finish a 3-way match, but I feel like they've done this before with Charlotte in these matches where she's, I don't know, like been in the figure 8 and then somebody comes in to do something and that's how she loses. I do feel like that may be a little bit overplayed, but
That happens a lot.
I still thought it was cool.
Asuka tapped out. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, but the ref was turned around, wasn't it? Because Becky?
Not Becky, Bailey.
Oh
yeah,
that's what I meant.
Oh, they all look alike, Micah?
No, they look very different, but the bees. Well, I didn't mean it like that.
But. Charlotte she's always in the main event scene, ain't she?
Well, when your dad's Ric Flair. No, I'm playing. She is really good.
Is she 14-time women's champion good though?
Look, I'm on the bandwagon. People hate on Charlotte, but every time she's very polarizing. And what I mean by that is she can have the most god awful slow TV match. But then when it's WrestleMania, you're like, wow, she really is like one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. And there's no in between.
I'm not doubting her in-ring work. That was never an issue. But the fact that she's been shoved down people's throats for 8 years now, Micah, that's why people soured on her online. Like 14-time women's champion is crazy. When the division has 7 girls? Like you can't.
Oh no, I don't think it's 14. I think it's 15.
Is it 15?
Do they count NXT?
I don't think they count the NXT titles.
Okay, then she's won the Divas Championship one time. She's the final champion.
Yeah.
She is a 6-time Raw Women's Champion and a 7-time SmackDown Women's Champion. So,
my God,
15. No, 14. Math.
If you count the NXT Women's title, she's a 16-time champion.
Yep.
Which is outrageous to say, but that's why people hate her online because she was literally Roman Reigns of the women's division for a long time. You weren't locked in like I was when she got so many title opportunities, so many title matches, and she never lost. And she never lost clean either. When she did take a loss, I don't know, man. I'm still a little salty about Charlotte's positioning since she got brought up to the main roster in 2015.
I don't know. I wasn't as, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess locked in, as you said, when she was really in her heyday, but I've never hated Charlotte. Now, I don't like when she tries to be a babyface because, like her dad, she's just a natural heel and you want to hate her. But I don't know. Like, her with the belt just kind of feels right to me, I guess.
And her promos were always kind of robotic to me. Like, really no substance. Kind of like you could have wrote this for any girl and they could have said this.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that's true, but she has more of an aura than most people. And how many women's wrestlers really can cut a solid promo?
You got Becky and Trish was pretty good.
Rhea.
I guess, yeah, Rhea. But yeah, not a lot. It's not. Alexa Bliss was pretty good, I guess.
All right. We putting her over Charlotte.
And promos, oh, most definitely. In ring, no.
Whoa.
What? Come on now.
I think your Bray Wyatt blinders are
No,
on.
come on now. Alexa Bliss was really good on the mic. That was the only thing she had going for her because her matches were awful. It's like she didn't want to get hit. She wouldn't take bumps.
No, I don't think that's the only thing she's got going for her.
Well, I mean, a couple more things, but still, though, Mike, her strength was promos.
I'm just saying, I've never been blown away by an Alexa Bliss promo.
Well, you haven't been watching since she was on top.
She has been gone most of the time I've been watching, I will admit.
Yeah.
But even when she came back this last time, she was just kind of roped into the Bray stuff. She really wasn't doing much.
Yeah, they were kind of going. They were kind of putting her on the back burner when she came back with Bray stuff. She really didn't. And then she got pregnant, and we hadn't seen her since. She might be done. She may never come back. I don't know.
You think? I think she'll come back.
She won't be a top girl when she comes back because the landscape has changed a lot. They are pushing Jade to be the next coming of The Rock, man. You saw she had interaction with Charlotte on SmackDown.
No, see, star making potential.
She towered over Triple H. What kind of heels was she wearing?
Well, she wasn't taller than Charlotte though, was she?
They were about the same height. They were eye to eye.
Maybe Triple H has shrunk.
Wearing 6-inch heels.
Well, probably. I mean, that's typically what she wears.
I guess. What match are we on?
Well, speaking of comebacks, let's come back to this match real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Slams. There was a bad botch at the end between Asuka and Charlotte. Asuka came off the top rope and almost like she tried to do like a code breaker or something, but she didn't really catch the back of Charlotte's head, so Charlotte just kind of like went off to the side and didn't hit her knee at all. It was just a bad bobble.
They've been teasing Bailey having the breakup to Damage Control for a while. I don't think it's going to happen anymore. I think Dakota is going to is going to be the one to end up breaking up Damage Control.
I could see it like a jealousy angle, but then again, she was trying to like hide the fact that she was cheating from Io. Like Io wanted to win it for herself or whatever.
Yeah, but they've been doing that for a while. Damage Control has been a thing since we started on the podcast.
That's true. We got the same shelf life.
They've been teasing the breakup since.
I don't know, but I don't want to say this, but how far can you go with Dakota Kai? Honestly.
Well, probably not that far, but I think Triple H, I think he was a big fan of her at NXT, so she probably do a couple things. She'll probably get Michael, there's only like 8 women on the roster. Most of them are going to win the title.
Yeah, well, you do have a point. There's got to be at least 2 champions, so that narrows it down to, at least like half the roster.
Yeah.
Well, we'll move on unless you had anything else you wanted to talk about on this one.
Not at all.
All right. Following this was pretty much the match that got everybody in the building, or at least to me.
Ooh.
LA Knight and John Cena versus Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa.
Whoa. Before, though, Pat McAfee is back, baby.
Yeah, I didn't write anything for that, but I figured you would want to talk about it. And if you hear that noise, that is my door.
It's crazy, though, because he was on College Game Day earlier on in the day, and he made it in Indiana for the pay-per-view.
Where was College Game Day at?
Wasn't it Austin? It was in Oklahoma and Texas. I think it was in Austin.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, bro must have took the private jet from WWE and got there just in time for the pay-per-view.
He got on that Logan Paul jet.
I'm glad he was there. He was a little rusty, though.
I don't know. I like Pat.
You can tell he ain't been.
WrestleMania in Indianapolis.
Well, I mean, come on now. He's the hometown boy.
You lying? Yeah.
Yeah, but he sounded a little rusty. You can tell he wasn't watching the product when he was away.
I mean, good God, how would he have time? He's got the ESPN show that I think they do every day. He's got the College Game Day now. And I'm sure he's probably on interviews and other crap. Like, I know he keeps interviewing Saban every week, so.
I mean, you can watch the Hulu version of SmackDown. Hour and a half. Can't watch that on the plane.
I heard they're about to end the deal. It's hard enough for me to find time to watch the shows, much less if I was a national media personality.
Well, still, come on now, Pat. You gotta know about the main event, guys.
Yeah, I mean, you got a point.
Yeah, you can skip the LWO stuff, but when the Bloodline and LA Knight is on, you gotta watch it.
Well, speaking of LA Knight and the Bloodline, they were in this match. This isn't necessarily a scoop, but I thought it was very indicative that Cena started to give LA Knight the hot tag. I thought that was a big telling moment for him. But as for scoops and slams, what you got?
First scoop, LA Knight was getting the shine from the crowd at the beginning of the match. It's crazy to say that when John Cena was in the ring, but he got the biggest ovation. And people were chanting his name over Cena when they were both in the ring together.
Yeah, I thought that was, I don't know,
crazy.
Almost, yeah, like almost unthinkable, I guess, to think that somebody, especially at this point in Cena's career, because used to, Cena was 50-50. Some people liked him, some people didn't. But now he's a legend, so pretty much he's going to get cheered every time, no matter what. And to see a rising star, even though he's kind of close to his age, getting the same or a better reaction, I don't know. I'm a little scared of where they're going with LA Knight.
I think they've been handling him perfect after SummerSlam. Even before that, I want to say like towards Money in the Bank, they've been handling him really well.
I think they have been doing a good job. I'm just talking about if they're going with this Roman feud, because he's not going to win.
That wouldn't hurt him to lose to the biggest star, though, Roman. He's won his last 3 or 4 PLEs matches.
You don't think, though? Because, like, then where is he going to go from there?
He can get screwed over. You don't have to lose clean.
Well, yeah, but he can't go against Ray because Ray is babyface.
Well, did you see what happened? And we're recording on a Saturday night here, ladies and gentlemen. But Logan Paul called out Rey Mysterio for the U.S. Championship. So why can't you have Logan Paul get the title off Ray, and then you have LA Knight take the title off Logan Paul
at WrestleMania
or Royal Rumble? You don't see that happening? I wouldn't hate that.
No, I wouldn't hate it. I think you could stretch it to Mania, though. I think that's a good Mania match.
They would have a good program together too, like promos back and forth. They would have I think they would do well.
Yeah, they would just have to stretch it, because then at the same time, what do you do with Santos?
I keep him babyface because there are a lot of heels on SmackDown right now.
That's true.
I think he'll get lost in the shuffle if he turns heel.
So what about Logan versus Ray?
Okay.
At Rumble. That's about 4 months. So Ray can have a couple hit or miss feuds here and there. Obviously, his feud, he can have another month feud with Bobby, Montez, whatever. Then
maybe have
stuff kind of slows down.
Maybe have like a filler feud with Grayson Waller or something like that.
Yeah. So then, as we get close to Rumble, Logan comes back, start of the year or whatever, challenges Ray.
Yeah.
Ray versus Logan at Rumble. Santos screws Ray.
Pause.
Then we go to Then Logan ends up beating Ray again.
Yeah.
Or no, we don't even have to run it back because Ray will basically just deflect towards Santos.
Yeah.
Logan gets to do his little parade.
Okay. I like it.
Then at Mania, Ray versus Santos.
Sure.
And Logan versus LA Knight.
Because I figure that LA Knight is gonna lose under like questionable circumstances to Roman. So that'll set him up for a Survivor Series match in like War Games or something like that. So that'll tie him over at least to the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that, they've been handling LA Knight well.
I agree. I'm fearful for the future because I don't like them. I don't want them to rush him to the main event scene too quick and then people be like, and then lose faith in them. But I don't know. I think I just fantasy book something decent.
Yeah, they should hire us.
Well, you know, I take money.
Hey, we called the LA Knight thing from the beginning. That was one of our scoop predictions. Don't ever forget.
You did especially too, because you told me even you were like, man, when they pull this guy up, you need to watch him. He's pretty good.
We got the NWA running wild on SmackDown now with Nick Aldis and LA Knight.
Imagine that in 2019. Who would you have thought would have went to WWE and who would have went to AEW?
Man.
And Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. Crazy.
I don't know. This timeline is so strange, especially with the fact that Punk might be coming back too. But anyways, one of my scoops, I thought the hot tag for LA Knight was really good. Again, very telling of where they see him going forward. They're setting him up for a Roman feud, so that speaks big things.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else in terms of scoops?
Yeah, I thought Cena's facial expressions was hokey. But the crowd did eat it up.
Yeah. I mean, one of my slams is Cena still gonna Cena. That's kind of tying into that, or just the fact that he kind of sold majority of the match. But
he's been doing that a lot with his comeback. He doesn't really have a lot of offense. He just sells, and he does his goofy faces that the crowd loves. So I'm not gonna knock him for it. It's kind of like when Hogan used to do all that hokey stuff and the crowd ate it up.
Yeah.
You ain't got to do much.
And then Punk started doing it too, and the people still were eating it up.
If you're over, you can find ways to not do much and still get the crowd involved. MJF for that last pay-per-view that they had.
Absolutely.
Got one of the biggest reactions of the night, not doing much. A scoop slam. I mean, that got a huge reaction.
Or the daggum kangaroo kick that he's been obsessed with recently.
Hey, that kangaroo kick looks good, though.
Yeah, I mean, I will admit.
But,
name's a little goofy, though.
Yeah, and he sets it up by holding up his hands like a kangaroo. That's a little, I don't know about that there, buddy. I got one more scoop. Can I just hit you with it? And then,
yeah, go ahead.
You can probably get into your slams if you have any. It was a pretty basic match, but the crowd was at its loudest during this match. And that shows just how over LA Knight and Cena are. And, you know, Jimmy and Solo did their job in this match, too.
Yeah, that was like my one takeaway was I did enjoy it, but the star power was really the only reason why. Like, nothing in the ring was too, you know, this wasn't FTR versus Bullet Club Gold. The people were going crazy for anything LA Knight did.
Yeah.
I mean, they were doing the yeah on every hit. Plus, he got the pin. I did think it was funny, too. He did the mud hole stomps in the corner.
And the crowd ate it up. That little jump up into the superplex, I like that. That looks good.
Yeah. If he lands it, it's good. Now, that time him and Sheamus had that bobble, I felt bad, but...
Sheamus sabotaged him.
He did. It was Sheamus's fault.
Piece of garbage. Man, he couldn't beat the AEW guy on his way out.
Give him the Snitsky gimmick. It wasn't my fault. Man, we've mentioned Apple and Snitsky on this podcast. Who would ever thought?
Hey, hold up now. Snitsky was him when he kicked that baby in 2005. I enjoyed that.
Eat your heart out, Pat McAfee. But was that all you really had for that one? We move on to our main event.
Yeah, I didn't really have a slam. I just thought Pat was a little rusty. But did you have any? Do you have any slams?
No, other than just Cena's still gonna Cena. That was pretty much it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we move on.
Now for this main event,
We can skip.
I was afraid we were gonna disagree, but it sounds like we kind of had the same.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke freaking Nakamura for the freaking World Heavyweight Championship.
A lot of freaking going around, huh, Micah?
Yeah, you know.
I thought something else. Gonna follow that up. Okay.
Thought about it. It was a last man standing match, and I'm not gonna lie. Seth beat him last time, so running this back felt a little useless to me. I got one scoop. The double knees onto the table to the outside was nice. It looked nasty. I couldn't do it now, so I feel bad for Shinsuke doing that as like a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, not a whole lot of takeaways that were positive for me.
I thought the nunchucks, I thought that was pretty cool.
I see. I thought that was a little hokey.
He's a master, Micah. You saw the vignettes.
Oh, he is.
Yeah. He was embracing his inner Steve Blackman in that moment. We've all been there.
Oh, man. Has every kid had a pair of nunchucks in their life at least once?
What have you at least tried?
You ever hit yourself with actual nunchucks?
Oh man, you put them down real quick after that.
Yeah. That's why I felt bad, because I was like, one of two things is happening right now. Either those are real nunchucks and I would not be taking those bumps, or two, those are definitely fake nunchucks.
It still looks like it can hurt though, but they're fake.
Yeah. As for slams, I've got quite a few, but if you want to start us off, I'll let you go ahead.
I'll hit you with a scoop. I had hit you with a couple scoops back to back. Can I do that?
Go ahead.
I thought the missed spot onto the announce table, Shinsuke hit him with the green mist. Oh, was it red? I think it was red mist.
That was red.
All right, well, regardless, he hit him with the mist, and then Seth went through the announce table. That looked good. And I gotta commend Seth. He did put the nail in the coffin to Shinsuke Nakamura's career, and he did the same for Finn Balor. So hopefully we'll never get to see those guys as world champions, and that is a scoop in my opinion. So, good job, Seth, on that end.
I didn't even think about it like that, but you got a good point.
Yeah, that's the only scoops I got.
See, he is putting away all the guys that people are like, oh man, he should have been a world champion.
I'm fine with it.
When you put it like that,
yeah,
he's had a pretty good run.
Who else he gonna get?
Who they got left? Well, Dolph's gone now.
That'd have been my answer.
He could beat the Miz.
Nah, I want some. I wouldn't hate Miz being champion one first time actually. Grayson Waller, can he go ahead and end him?
Oh man, I'm trying to even think like who. In all honesty, who is even next for Seth?
Drew, they've been building him up.
But he's babyface, isn't he?
Oh, he is heel. He's been walking away when the baby faces get beat up by Judgment Day.
Well, never mind then. That shows you how much I've been watching Raw.
Oh man.
Do you think he puts the nail in Drew's coffin?
No.
I think Drew's still got a title run in him.
Yeah, I think that's who takes the title off him is Drew.
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
Because I think that if Priest does cash in on Drew, then that could be a good match.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, oh yeah, Damian does still have the briefcase. Don't forget. Maybe he gets cashed in on instead of losing it outright.
I could see that, but I don't know. Personally, I'd rather Drew have it right now, because then who are they going to get to take it off of Damian?
Well, around that time be Royal Rumble, so I'm sure the roster is going to get shaken up a little bit.
Oh yeah, and everybody starts being on every show around WrestleMania.
Yeah, there's no the brand split is kind of it's a figment of our imagination. It doesn't really exist, so they can pretty much do whatever they want.
Yeah,
They had Dom on SmackDown.
they only use it when it works for them.
Bro, they had Dom on SmackDown. How is he on? Why did he show up on SmackDown? Well, who cares? I guess.
Yeah, that's why Ray went to SmackDown, so he didn't have to deal with Dom anymore.
So, I mean, there's nothing stopping them, I guess. Triple H didn't care.
Well, I didn't care about this match, but I got a couple slams I got to get to real quick. Seth falling off the stairs was awful because it was so fake. The way they shot it, I hated. And then everybody passed the clip around on Twitter that it was just like a mattress down there. And then some of the shots after that, they kept showing it.
Yeah, air mattress.
Yeah, and as much as you clown Jericho for falling onto that cardboard breakaway,
it wouldn't have been so bad if he didn't bounce on the air mattress.
yeah,
right.
Like it didn't look. It had so much give to it.
Yeah, it didn't look good. You know, for a guy's back holding up by a thread or holding on by a thread, that back seems to be indestructible in matches. Does it not seem like it?
He's got Raquel's back. Yeah, you got a good point. I mean, I think a perfectly healthy person falling on concrete from that distance, their back would probably be shot. But Seth gets right back up.
Yeah.
Spring chicken.
Oh yeah, he good. He was there on Monday.
The only other stuff, the crowd really didn't seem too much into it. I think it hurt being after the LA Knight match, but also I don't think the people are as much into Seth as they used to be, and they definitely are into Nakamura as much as they used to be. Seth getting up from the announce table spot, I didn't like. I know you kind of shouted it out that it looked good, but I didn't like the fact that he got up after all the other bull crap that he had been through, and oh my god, my back. And then the fact that Michael Cole, too, is sitting there selling it like it was Mankind falling through the cell.
Come on now.
No, I'm serious. Michael Cole was like, oh my god! Oh my god! I was like, dude, he just fell through the table.
Well, it's on the ladder, Micah, and he's supposedly has a bad back, so I can see why he would be concerned.
Okay, but do you remember when Jeff Hardy was on that like 30-foot ladder and jumped onto the daggum announce table? That ladder is really high up. How many times have we seen a guy fall through the announce table off a ladder?
Well, okay, let me hit you with this though. Jeff Hardy does that in almost all his matches, so it's really not a big deal when he does it. But when Seth, takes a big bump like that, you hardly ever see it.
See, I disagree because it was always like, what insane thing is Jeff Hardy going to put his body through this time, like with Darby?
Yeah, but still, though, it happened in almost all of his ladder matches. He would take a stupid bump, so it's really not a big deal when you see it. I mean, it's just another swanton through a ladder, or another swanton while on a ladder. Is what I was trying to say.
I don't know. I disagree because I remember as a kid, which again I was a big Hardy guy, but the one with him versus Punk.
That was a terrible call.
What do you mean?
I think Josh Grisham was on commentary and he had an awful call. I remember watching that match.
I don't remember the call. I just remember him being up on top of the ladder and jumping off and going onto the announce table. And it looked pretty good to me then.
They had the worst commentary team on SmackDown at the time with Josh Grisham and Matt Stryker. It was terrible.
I thought that was ECW.
Nah, that was SmackDown.
Oh, man. No wonder I don't remember any of the calls from back then.
Josh Grisham. I like Josh on this ESPN stuff, but as a WWE commentator, he was bad.
Well, the only other slam I had, the finish overall, I didn't really care for.
So
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say that this match wasn't somewhat entertaining just because there's stuff and that's entertaining, but
there's stuff.
the two guys involved did not help.
Nah, the crowd loves the crowd loves singing their songs, but when the bell rings, they don't particularly care.
Yeah. And they pop bigger for the tables than they do for the actual guys.
That should tell you a lot right there.
Seth has lost his luster with me. Like, I didn't like him before, but I was like, the people are into him, whatever. If the people like him, sure. But I don't know. Now, do the people still really like him? Do they care?
They like his song.
But then, hey, what do you always say? That bell's got to ring sometime.
That GD bell has the ring.
Had to steal your line for a minute there, brother.
I mean, are we lying here on the Scoop Slam podcast?
We tell no lies.
Oh.
But overall, the PLE, as you so like to call it, and I guess I better get used to the verbiage, because when Survivor Series comes around, I'm locked in. What would be your grade, sir?
I'll give it a 6.5. It was very forgetful, though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had to look at my notes throughout this review here, Micah, because I did forget about most of the stuff that happened on this night.
I'm gonna go 4.5. I'm sorry, I just realized. Did you have any slams for that final match? I kind of cut your nuts off.
Nah, I was kind of numb to the match. It happened. It was going on. I was in the room when it was happening, but that's pretty much it.
You wish you weren't?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 4.5.
Oh, come on. You ranked it lower than All Out? Come on
now.
You're wrong for that.
There was 2 matches that I was actually interested in.
At least it was 3 hours instead of the 7 hours slog we gotta go through on AEW big events.
Well, you ranked this better than Wrestle Dream. I disagree.
It was.
Oh, come on.
Wrestle Dream was way too long.
Okay, I can meet you there, but the Cody versus Jay match was all right. It was solid, nothing crazy. I like the ending. That's pretty much the same thing with LA Knight versus Cena. Everything else you did not have to watch.
Well, at least it was only like 2.5, 3 hours though.
Yeah, but did we really have to watch this pay-per-view?
Okay, I'll put it like this. It was 2.5, 3 hours, so it was in and it was out. AEW, it was a mediocre pay-per-view, but it lasted 5 hours. Like that's the reason I graded it so low. It was so long. Now, if it was a mediocre pay-per-view and it was just 3 hours like Fastlane was, I would have graded it a little higher.
I don't know. I gotta disagree with you. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a long time to watch this pay-per-view because I would put it on and then I was like either falling asleep or just like I could be doing anything better. Which I do that sometimes with the AEW pay-per-views too, especially like I know, like with Wrestle Dream, the first half of it, I was like, dude, oh my God. Yeah. And then the last half it picked up.
Well, Wrestle Dream took me a while to watch because it was on for forever.
Took you 3 days to watch because it was 3 days long.
After the 3 days, it was time for the press scrum. I mean, come on, man.
I don't know. I did not like Fastlane. I'm not shocked. It's a C-level WWE pay-per-view. I knew what I was getting into. I don't expect there to be like Roman Reigns versus The Rock on Fastlane. It's just there. It
was just there. And now we're going to be here in NXT. Or are we going to review AEW next? What are we doing for the Tuesday Night Wars, Micah?
Let's go ahead and start with AEW, just because I wrote it down that way. And there's a little bit more notes, at least that I have for AEW. So, unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard about the Tuesday Night Wars. AEW got preempted to Tuesday, so Dynamite and NXT ran at the same time, and they both stacked the table. NXT had Cena and Taker and Paul Heyman.
Late night, Cody.
Main evented. Yeah. And somebody else made a run in too. Finn.
Asuka was there. Solo was there.
Yep. And main evented by Braun Breaker versus Carmelo. I'm gonna say Carmelo Anthony.
Oh man, LeBron James.
You imagine? And you threw that comparison to me, so that's why it was on my mind.
Hey, Braun Breaker's about LeBron James color now with all that spray tan.
Oh. Hey man, you said it, but I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah, I thought Hogan was black when I was a kid. Watching old WCW stuff.
I can't say that I blame you, especially with like the quality.
I thought Taz was black too.
Oh, I would have bet the house that Taz was black. Like Hogan, you wouldn't have thought because like the hair texture, but Taz didn't have any hair, so you were like, "Oh yeah, Taz is black."
It gotta be.
But AEW Dynamite opened up with
black.
a small. Wait, what?
No, go ahead.
Wasn't sure where you were going with that.
I say, well, open up with a black guy.
Christians.
Oh well, oh yeah, I forget.
He's a Canuck. Oh, you thought I was pitching to that?
I thought we were going to talk about Swerve and Daniel Bryan.
Oh man, nah, I wouldn't pitch like that. You got to start with the Canuck.
Oh, okay, yeah, he did start the show. My fault.
Mm-hmm. Small little intro package from Christian. Dadgummit, now we've been laughing. I sat here and laughed at the word package.
Oh man. Well, Christian started off the show, which was ironic because Cody Rhodes started off the show on NXT, and we all know he has.
Yeah, I thought that was funny that they made him start or just be on the show in general.
Yeah.
But Christian basically said that he was the reason for the commercial-free 30 minutes that NXT also did.
Really?
And he talked a little bit about the main event. Yeah.
Okay, all right. He has that power.
Well, he said he's the ambassador because he's the TNT champion.
The TNT champion could do that? That piece of garbage Darby.
He said he asked.
That piece of garbage Darby never got a 30 minutes.
Well, see, this is Christian's babyface turn.
Oh, okay. I'm with it.
He's like Hogan. He's above the law. Maybe he's starting the NWO.
Okay. All right. I wouldn't hate it.
Or maybe not, dude.
Maybe you could join the Outcast.
Well, following that, oh God, hey, we don't mention them. And she was on the show. I didn't write anything down for it, but she was on the show.
Yeah.
But opening up, Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland for the number one contendership slot, and they are going to face Christian Cage tonight. They probably are facing him right now, as we're recording. But I had two little notes for this. I thought the Swerve Stomp, while Danielson was hanging on the top, on the outside of the ring, was nice. The Swerve Stomp and Finn Balor's move too, they always look so bad to me. Like, I don't know how they make that not hurt.
Devastating.
I'll say that again. It kind of cut out.
It does look devastating when they do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure it probably still hurts a little bit, but I don't know. It looks like I wouldn't take that.
No.
I'd always be scared they'd actually like hit that little bone in your chest that you can hit and it'll kill you. You know what I'm talking about?
That particular bone? Nah, I don't know. Why don't they just let go of the ropes when he's about to do the Swerve Stomp? Like, wouldn't Brian hanging on to the ropes? I just let go.
Yeah. Well, because then he would the physics would pull him down and he'd slap the bottom of the turnbuckle.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Regal. Yeah, it didn't make much sense to me, man.
I didn't hate it. other than that, I thought it was a really good TV match. Lots of good spots, but nothing too ridiculous. I don't care for Hangman Adam Page's involvement because this is an AEW trope that I hate. They never let a feud just die.
Yeah, I thought
it has to go on for 3 months.
Yeah, I thought that was it. I thought that one pay-per-view match was going to be it, but seems like they're going to keep on going with this.
And I don't understand that because
he got to get his win back.
now they're going to have well, yeah, you know why. He's got friends. But I don't know, because now I bet you they're going to have some Texas death match, and I don't want to see it, and I don't really think anybody else does. And that's why I liked this feud to begin with, because it was something different, not involving like the same people to me that always have feuds.
Yeah, now it's going to overstay his welcome, and we're going to Hangman's probably going to win this feud. We can agree to that. So I don't want to see it, but that seems to be where they're going for Full Gear.
What'd you think about the match overall?
It was fine. I thought the AEW fanboys got a little overboard online saying that it was match of the year candidate, but it was fine. It was that.
Whoa.
Hey, I seen that. Like that was something that the first thing when I opened up Reddit, Micah, the first thing I seen was, Danielson and Swerve just had a TV match of the year candidate. Like, come on now. Are we sure? You sure about that?
We're gonna act like the FTR match didn't happen on TV.
What happened on Collision, Micah? You know those fans don't watch Collision because one Punk was on that show. They boycott the show.
The AEW glazing sometimes still amazes me.
They won't admit that something's bad, even when it's really bad. And if it was on Raw or SmackDown, they would say it's bad. But because it's AEW, it's good.
Oh yeah,
it has to be good. It's AEW.
I mean, again, I thought I said on my notes, really good TV match. I enjoyed it. Probably my favorite match of the week. But match of the year?
No, people said.
No.
People said.
Well, speaking of overstaying your welcome, Will Hobbs versus Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
Hobbs basically just beat the piss out of him for 7 minutes.
Yeah, he read him the Book of Hobbs. And if you want to read the Book of Hobbs, Micah, you know where you should go to?
I hate to tell you that your pitch has failed. We lost the sponsorship.
Oh, man. Okay, we're not giving them free publicity this week. Never mind. He read him the Book of Hobbs, though.
Yeah, those pieces of crap over there at Amazon pulled our sponsorship, brother.
How dare they? We're going to give them the best pitch, the best sponsorship spot ever. They can't even give us one more month. Get out of here.
Yeah, that was a really good pitch, though. I'll give you that. I wasn't expecting.
I'm canceling my membership as we speak.
Well, Hobbs, again, decimated Jericho for about 7 minutes. And here's why I didn't like this.
Oh.
I like the fact that Hobbs won. Don't get me wrong. I like the fact that he beat Jericho. I want you to write this down and come back to it in 2 months.
I'm here.
And tell me where Chris Jericho's at and tell me where Will Hobbs is at.
Well, you're going to be the same place Action Andretti is.
Exactly. But everybody on Twitter was saying, see, you guys hate on Chris Jericho. And y'all just talked so down on Chris Jericho. Look at, he let Will Hobbs destroy him. And where is he going to be in 2 months?
If there's a plan to this, which I doubt there is, but there is a plan, and it was the right decision. But to just have Will Hobbs smash Jericho, and he's probably not going to get a match next week. He's probably just going to be the Muscle in the Callis family, which Hobbs joins a lot of groups. Have you noticed that? He joins them.
Yeah.
He was on Team Taz. Then he was with somebody else afterwards. He was with Ricky Starks.
Yep.
And then after he left Ricky Starks, what did he go to? Oh, QT's group. And then that fizzled out. What happened to that?
think they're still going. They're just relegated more to jobbers on like Rampage.
Oh, okay. Which is the correct decision. And then he had that feud with Miro, which Miro has been missing since that feud. He got his wife a job and then he just stopped coming to work. I don't know what happened.
Well, he's a punk guy, brother.
Well, dang, his wife is too, I guess. Maybe she was supposed to get a stable. What happened to that?
She's still building. I thought Hobbs was going to be in her stable.
Oh, yeah, that's what you would think, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, the booking makes sense. Booker of the year, though.
Oh, yeah, Booker of the year.
But, yeah, that's what pissed me off, because I knew that's what... And I legitimately saw it when I went on Twitter. Look at Jericho. He puts over younger talent, man. Y'all always hate on him, man. Yeah, because right now it's like, oh, okay, he's putting over younger talent. And then what does it do for them?
Nothing.
And speaking of nothing, Orange Cassidy won the International Championship a little later after that match. I wonder who was supposed to be in the match. I don't think it was actually Cassidy, but then something got...
Honestly, he wasn't cleared, though. Why they advertise if he wasn't cleared?
Yeah, I didn't remember them Well, I remember them advertising something, but I didn't think it was him.
Yeah, it was him. And then supposedly Phoenix has visa issues, so he's gonna be gone for a while too.
Oh, good Lord.
Always.
How? Okay.
Uh-oh.
How do they always have visa issues?
I don't know. Maybe it's just something they can rely on when the booking doesn't make sense. Oh, they had visa issues, so we had to change course. It's always something like that.
I mean, I don't know. I'm genuinely asking. Like, I'm not even trying to be any kind of way. Like, it just seems like this is always a thing that happens. Now, if somebody can tell me a reason, like, I'm seriously just wondering. But like, it happens to Pac all the time. It happens to both of the Lucha Bros. Most of the Mexican talent that they have, like Bandito, visa issues.
You see, they're bringing in Sin Cara next week.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's like.
Is it the original one though?
Yeah, it is. It's
interesting.
Yeah, I remember him being a flop. But yeah, it is a lot of visa issues. I think it's because they only have to work 1 day a week, so they don't live. They don't live in like Florida or somewhere in the United States, like most of the WWE roster does, because they're kind of traveling all around the United States, so they might as well live here. I think that's mostly, it has to do with all the visa issues on the AEW side.
Yeah. I don't know. It makes you wonder. Because I also wondered why they put the belt back on Cassidy after he just lost it.
Well, Cassidy don't take a lot of losses. He had to get his win back.
Which means we have to suffer through y'all, not me.
Yeah, we just
have to suffer through another Orange Cassidy John Moxley match.
Should have just put it on Jeff Jarrett last week. I would have enjoyed that.
I honestly would have, more than anybody else that has fought for this title.
Yeah, I would not be watching Orange Cassidy matches. I'm sorry.
No. We need to make I listen to this fantasy football podcast, and they have like a burn book of like players that they really refuse to talk about because they're so bad, or they just basically piss them off bad enough. Like Kyle Pitts.
Oh, Jerry Judy too, huh?
Yep. Historically, guys who you're like, man, I have him on my team, I gotta play him, and then you play him, and he puts up like 8 points.
Yeah.
So we need a burn book for the historically guys that it's like, all right, I guess we gotta watch him because he's in a marquee match, and then we hate it.
We got Cassidy. We put Kenny Omega there.
Well, I wouldn't put Kenny there.
I'll put him there. And then you got rid of Matt Riddle, so you don't have to worry about him anymore.
Yeah.
Two more guys we got on the burn book.
It'll make for an interesting segment, maybe in a couple episodes down once we get caught up. But following this, and I'm just trying to skim through some of this stuff, a lot of Dynamite and NXT wasn't like a whole lot of substance. The quarter incident, do we really want to get into it?
it was supposedly very controversial online with the current events going on. I personally didn't. It didn't like strike me as something like, oh man, that's really racist when I seen it. But then again, I'm not a Jewish man, so I mean, who am I to say that it wasn't a controversial thing?
Yeah, I saw that MJF said that it was intentionally that way so that so they can shed light on that, but I know Brian Last from Cornette's podcast was kind of it like pissed him off, which again, he's a Jewish guy. He has the right to be mad about it, especially when obviously all the stuff going on overseas in Israel is happening right now.
Yeah.
I just don't know that this was a smart time to do this angle. If it offended you, that's at your discretion. Personally, I didn't think anything about it until Excalibur had to elaborate on it.
Got a lot of mainstream attention in the wrong way. Like it was TMZ was talking about this, Mike. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, you sent me the article.
Yeah, it was. It didn't strike me at first watching it that it deserved to be, buried like it did. But then again, we are not Jewish men, so who are we to say?
Yeah, and I thought another thing too, because MJF said this. He was like, racist villains have been a thing in wrestling for years.
Oh,
But also, isn't that kind of something we're trying to get away from? You know what I mean?
yeah. Even in Hollywood, that's something that they've gone away from. So you really can't. You can't say that that's been a thing forever when literally every other media has gone away from all the racist stuff on television and in movies and stuff like that. Like you can't have what's the last comedy movie that came out, Micah? Because they don't exist. They don't exist anymore. Because you don't want to offend anybody, man. It's just I don't know. That's the way the world works now.
Yeah. And the last honestly comedy movie that I can remember coming out before that was Tropic Thunder. And obviously, because I think that was 2008?
Yeah.
And if that movie came out today,
oh man,
there's no way. So that just shows you right there in that short amount of time.
The world's changed.
Because like I said, I think, yeah, I remember that being the last big comedy movie from that I guess cast of guys. Ben Stiller, Will Ferrell, Adam Sandler, those kind of guys were all really driving the comedy movies, like Happy Gilmore, all that kind of stuff.
Seth Rogen.
And now
Seth
Rogen.
Yeah. They're kind of going by the wayside.
Yeah. Or they're doing other stuff like Bowser.
Or they're doing dramas. Like what was Adam Sandler's last movie? Wasn't it a drama about basketball? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. There was Uncut Gems, but I think he's done another one since then.
I remember Anthony Edwards was in it, but yeah, they don't have you don't see Grown Ups 3 coming out anytime soon.
Yeah. So I just don't know that this was the right time for this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it was especially because of the backlash, it was in poor taste.
Yeah. Well, other than that, the Christian promo that followed it I thought was solid. He made some good one-liners about Edge's kids getting the sheets ready because daddy's coming home and talking about Beth Phoenix. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was. He's great.
Christian, he's proven why he's better than Edge. I was not on that bandwagon when we started this podcast, and I have been converted.
I wish they would have gave him the ball in WWE as a heel. He never was a heel in WWE when he came back.
Yeah, he did have that little run,
but it was underutilized
with Randy.
It was gone in an instant, and they turned him back babyface. It was like R-Truth when he had that great heel turn.
Oh man!
And then he just became a comedy character after that. Never took him seriously.
Yep. And the weird thing, that Randy feud was so weird too, because they kept trading the belt so much.
But Randy never took a loss to Christian. He lost the title because of a low blow at one point, but Christian never beat Randy, which was
Really, I didn't remember that.
yeah, it was unfortunate because I remember they had a stipulation, and I think it was their first match. Yeah, no, their second match. It was on pay-per-view. What was it? Money in the Bank 2011. And Christian won the title, but only because Randy got disqualified because Christian spit in Randy's face and Randy Orton low blowed him. There was a stipulation that if Randy got disqualified, he would lose the title. So he never beat Randy by pinfall.
Well, you know why? Vince never liked him.
It's crazy though, because they gave Mark Henry a pinfall victory over Randy a couple months later after that.
Well, the Hall of Pain was over.
Well, Christian was over too. Come on now.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, I feel like because they didn't give him the win from Randy, and because they kept kind of trading the belt back and forth, it just never picked up steam. But even then, like, from my childhood, I don't remember a Christian promo that have been like the ones since he's been in AEW.
Well, when you were a child, it was like what 09, 2010 when you were watching. So he cut the white meat babyface promos during that time.
I don't know. It's just crazy, like that guy being this guy. I mean, I know he's 10 years wiser, but I still think he had this potential then. Like, obviously, he's not in his athletic prime now.
He still had it in him, though. He was doing some great work in TNA, and his first run with WWE towards the end, he was doing some great stuff too. I was a peak back then, man. I was hurt when he left.
Yeah, I have seen old clips of that, like the Jericho Christian match at WrestleMania, plus that feud I enjoyed from the DVDs I had.
Oh, WrestleMania 20.
Hey man, back in the day, the movie gallery, they had all them freaking. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Those were good times. I remember I had what was the awful render Triple H pay-per-view? We've had this conversation before. Something 2003.
I can't recall. But hey, do you think Edge should have took a tombstone after coming off of neck surgery a couple years ago?
Probably not. You know, I thought that when it happened, but I didn't write anything down.
And the commentaries are terrible because they didn't really. If something like that happens, shouldn't you like talk about it? Like, oh, my Edge has a history of neck problems, and he just got tombstoned by Luchasaurus, but they didn't even really mention it when it happened.
Yeah, they just kind of sounded like almost like he died. It went like silent for a minute, and
They're terrible.
I feel like it kind of killed it.
They're terrible, especially Shivani. He sucks.
Put Nigel on both shows.
Just let him do one-man commentary.
You know, I wouldn't hate it. Christian Cage.
This match went way too long too. Went like 20 minutes.
See, okay. Edge versus Luchasaurus was the main event.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I mean, I agree. Maybe it did go a little bit long, but I thought it had some good spots. I thought the finish was good.
But Edge is supposed to be a legend in the industry, right? Supposedly. Adam Copeland, not Edge. But I don't think he needed to go 20 minutes. I like the dinosaur, but going 20 minutes with him, he's been treated like an undercard guy pretty much his whole run in AEW. That wasn't necessary at all. Like Edge is a little too generous for my liking, or Adam Copeland. It's very hard to call him anything but Edge.
Well, I'm still gonna call him Edge, most likely. I thought the spear from the apron to the stairs to the floor was good, as well as the finish.
A lot to say there.
But, well, I had to describe it. Basically, he ran off the apron onto the stairs that were set up sideways, and then speared him on the floor.
Yeah, I got you.
But, I mean, I agree. I'm not as big a Luchasaurus fan as you are, but you will like him in Big Brother.
Yeah, that's the fandom I have towards him. It's him when he was Judas on Big Brother season 19. That's it.
But someone on Twitter was like, Luchasaurus always shows up in the main event matches, and I was like,
Huh?
what main event match has he been in? He won the TNT Championship a couple months ago, but I definitely see your point because I think there was 19 minutes to go on the air when this went in the ring.
Way too long. And that's AEW's problem. They have stuff go for way too long.
That was the good thing about the Punk MJF feud. Like, it did kind of go for a while, but it felt fresh, and they made stuff for it to go fresh. And then when they got to the final match, because they only had two, that was it. They had a good split off point. Like when Brett and Taker fought for the belt, and Shawn was a special guest referee. Taker deflected his interest to Shawn. Brett went the other way. But no, we've got to have feuds go on for months and months, and matches go on for 25 minutes every night.
Yeah, and going back to the match, Mike, Nick Wayne has the worst stomps I've ever seen. They are bad. I don't know if you remember them, but they were not good at all. He's not ready for this spotlight.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't really think I paid too much attention to him.
Man, he wasn't even laying them in. They looked terrible. And Edge had
he's young.
Edge had to sell them too. I wouldn't have sold that. I would have got up. I'm not selling that.
Oh man, I buried him.
I would have had to tag you. You ever see that clip of Triple H in the ring with the Tough Enough guys? And he's saying, "Oh, if you would sell like that in the ring, I would have to tag you for real."
No, I don't think I ever saw that. The only Tough Enough Triple H clip I remember is the one where he's like, I think one of your nuts fell through your shorts.
Yeah, it's that same clip.
Oh. Well, overall, I know you probably liked NXT more than AEW.
Yeah, a lot of the backstage stuff was bad too. They had Tony Storm dancing throughout the picture-in-picture. Yeah, Adam Cole cutting grass, which actually, that I'm not exaggerating here for comedic effect. That actually happened. He was cutting grass on AEW television, and then they had the background music. Like, it was so hokey, so bad, not funny. Jump the shark. And then the commentators laugh at it, of course, because it's supposed to be funny. That's what wrestling is. And that was pretty much AEW Dynamite. Not my favorite.
I definitely don't think it was the best show. I don't think they put their best foot forward. I know some people love it, but then again, some people love everything.
Whoa. Tony Khan told me that this is the best show they've ever done.
Oh, really?
That's what he said. Yeah, Micah. Best Dynamite.
Interesting.
Best Dynamite they've ever done. After every show is always the best that they've ever done. You notice that?
Yeah. He loves his own product. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but...
Oh, man. He's high on his own supply, huh, Micah?
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but I mean, the shoe is fitting. It is a 10.5.
He went on Twitter and started burying everybody that had anything negative to say. Guys with 2 followers on X, he needed to respond to those people. That's what a boss does, right, Micah? Micah?
Well,
he died?
I think that
ratio
some
this.
of it.
That's what he said. Take this.
He said he hates from the bottom of his heart those 3 follower accounts with the WWE logo.
Oh my god!
Look,
he have nothing better to do?
It. I don't know how he has time to be on Twitter. He manages 18 things.
Well, looking at the performance of those things, yeah, I can see why he's always on Twitter.
I don't know. I feel like Tony. Okay. If you want to talk crap before, that's fine. But they lost.
Yeah.
And then he just kept on, like, talking about, this is the first time John Cena and Undertaker have been on a show with under 1 million viewers. Okay, that's crazy. You still lost. Like, you can't say anything
and
because it's that scoreboard mentality.
And going to that really upset me because Cena and Undertaker were not wrestling on that show. It was a developmental show. Meanwhile, Edge, Adam Copeland, a supposed legend in the business, wrestled on the show in front of 600,000 people. Like, what? Is he not going to point that out? Well, of course not. It doesn't support his argument. He's not going to point that out.
I think both. I understand his point, and that's what I told you when it happened. I get it, what he's saying at least, but
I know.
I mean, you've got how can I put this? They got preempted, and sure, they had Edge on, and they did 600,000. You should be happy. That's 200,000 away from what you're typically doing, or 250 on a completely different night of television. And on the other show, they did stack the table. They did bring in John Cena and Undertaker and Paul Heyman, and I think that is a little bit ridiculous. At the same time, scoreboard, you lost. Shut up. Like you have no argument anymore.
He was still going at it into Wednesday.
He
and
probably
Thursday.
still is today.
Oh yeah, he's probably still up. He ain't went to sleep since Tuesday night.
Oh man, it's keeping him up at night, or something else keeping him up at night.
Well, we're not gonna get into that, but he is the snowman for a reason.
Well, we'll move on to the other night of the Tuesday Night Wars. Well, not night, but show. The opening promo had Cody Rhodes come out, and he talked for a little bit and basically welcomed them. The crowd was all over it, obviously, because he's probably like one of the biggest stars to be in NXT in a while.
And it's crazy to see because he was on the other channel when NXT and AEW were going head to head every week, and now he's on NXT and they're going head to head. I don't know. It was just it was kind of weird to see.
Yeah, it did feel weird. Like, I don't know. I wonder what it's not his call. Obviously, they told him to be there, but I wonder how they felt in AEW about that.
I probably had more people for NXT this week than AEW.
What do you mean?
Like in the building? You see how dark that building was for AEW?
Oh, I don't know.
It was
How many can the Performance Center hold?
I think like 300 maybe.
Well, Ilya Dragunov interrupted him, the NXT champion, and then Dom interrupted him. I've only got 2 points.
Oh.
Ilya said, "I'm going to smash your boy."
Yeah.
Pause.
Like, don't you want to smash him, Micah? Dom,
Pause again.
I'm just saying, Dom has a very punchable face.
Oh,
yeah, you want to smash him.
That's where you were
going. You want to smash him, right, Micah?
Thought you mistake me for Rhea Ripley.
Oh, come on.
And the other thing was the crowd was pretty big for the big stars, obviously. Like, Cody got the huge pop. They popped big for Dom. Ilya was good. But I think the biggest pop out of any of them was the mention that LA Knight would be there as a special guest referee.
Yeah. They're always loud for their shows. The NXT audiences.
Well, it's a small building. That's what
it sounds better.
AEW should do.
Yeah, it sounds better. Reminds me of the Hammerstein Ballroom when WWE ran those one night stand pay-per-views.
Yep. And those are some of the like greatest crowd experiences ever. Honest to God, if ECW ran like 5,000 seat arenas, do you think it would have had the same feel?
No, not at all. And they're running in front of the same people too. So you build up a relationship with these guys you see every single Tuesday.
Exactly. Or even like the old Raws, you know what? What's that guy? He was always front row. What's his name?
The old Raws, like from the 90s?
Vlad?
Oh, yeah. He's my super fan Vlad. Yeah. He's supposed to have a documentary that came out that never came out.
Yeah. Wonder where that is.
Very. It's like the Owen Hart fall and the match with Tom McGee and Bret Hart. It's buried in lockups.
Wait, hold on. I don't know the Tom McGee Bret Hart story.
Oh, you never seen that? Well, I think they have released that, but it was under lock and key for a long time, and a lot of wrestling fans online always wanted to see the match because supposedly when the match happened, Tom McGee versus Bret Hart, Vince McMahon was hell bent on making Tom McGee a top guy, because of the great match he had with Bret Hart. But then after he's seen Tom McGee in all the follow-up matches, he just realized, oh, okay, Bret Hart's just a great performer, and made Tom McGee look like $1 million. But it was an infamous match for a long time.
No, I didn't know the story behind that one.
Yeah, check it out one day. I think it's on the network under the Hidden Gems section.
Which, are they really hidden if they're on Peacock? But that's besides the point. John Cena and the Braun Breaker segment, they both came out in the ring a little bit later. I got kind of cracked up when Cena said that about it's great to hear it the other way around, because they started chanting Braun Breaker sucks, like in the tune that Cena's theme is, and I don't know, it's kind of funny because you don't really hear many people boo Cena anymore, because it's just cool to see a star of that magnitude be on the show at all.
Crowd was eating up everything Cena did. They were singing his song when he came out.
Oh yeah,
he was.
And there was only like one guy saying John Cena sucks. So you could hear one guy. Cena pointed him out later.
That was great. I like that he did that.
Yeah. Which, I mean, he wasn't mad at the guy either.
Oh.
He was like, you know.
I like when the guys in the ring interact with the crowd instead of just treating them like they're not there. It makes them feel more real when they actually interact with people in the arena.
Mm-hmm. I think, again, that's another cool thing about the ECW feel that AEW could replicate.
Yeah.
The only other thing for this one was the fact that they blurred out the BS chant, which, I mean, I get that's like part of their deal, but when they were doing it, you couldn't even hear what Braun Breaker was saying because they kept blurring it so bad. And, I mean, obviously I don't curse, and we don't on the podcast, but, you know, I mean, they let it slide sometimes on the shows. I feel like if a wrestler's speaking, then you shouldn't cut it out, barring it be, you know, one of the really bad, you know, things that you can't say on TV, but I don't know.
Yeah, it almost ruined the segment. Remember when Rock came back and they kind of blurred out half the segment because of the curse words in it.
Yeah, I think that at times, I don't think they should do it for the crowd because you can't really control that.
Yeah, and who cares? 8 o'clock at night. What kid is up at 8 o'clock at night? That's that.
Oh, well, I was locked in for Raw back in the day.
Well, that's different. That's different. Still, though, I mean, if you don't want your kids to watch something that has curse words in it, just don't keep them up till 9 o'clock at night. Jeez.
Well, either way, did you have anything else you wanted to say about this segment?
Nah, I just made Braun Breaker like a big star when he's in there with Cena, and later on he was in there with Undertaker, so it made Braun Breaker like a bigger star. I got more stock bought in the Braun Breaker main roster push than I do the Carmelo main roster push. I like Carmelo, but I just don't see him being a main event threat on the main roster.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit before the show went on the air. I think Carmelo is going to have to put on some more muscle. I do like him, but I don't know that. Like, main event of AEW pay-per-view, sure. Main event of WrestleMania, I just don't know that he's big enough. And Ray kind of got over that because Ray got bulked. So,
and
I don't know.
Ray is the exception. He's not the rule. I mean, for every Ray Mysterio,
that's very true.
For every Ray Mysterio, there's a Sin Cara and a Kalisto and a Ultimo Dragon. There's a bunch of mass wrestlers that were small that couldn't get over. Ray Mysterio is the one exception.
And I think that's a big hang up for
Dragon Lee,
WWE. Oh, well, that too. I was going to say they just can never find another Rey Mysterio.
Well, they're going to try with Dragon Lee, it looks like. He's on the SmackDown roster too now. Which, why didn't he come out to help Ray? But I digress.
Well, you know, is he an official member yet?
Gotta be, right? He's Latino.
Oh, well. That just means you're automatically
But
inserted.
they put every black person in the Hurt business.
Oh, man. Well, you got a point. Following this was Ilya versus Dom.
It's okay.
Nothing crazy. I didn't really write much down. I think Ilya works too fast for Dom.
Dom improving a little bit. He was fine in there. Played his role well.
Yeah. I don't think he was bad per se. It's more of just, I just don't think that he is ready for, because Ilya is really a technical wrestler, and I don't know that Dom is ready for that.
Ilya is really good. He reminds me of Darby, watching him, because he lays all his stuff in.
Mm-hmm. That little elbow to the ground, it's kind of hokey, but the way he does it, I can completely buy it.
Yeah, he lays it in.
Well, speaking of something I couldn't buy, the Chase U segment followed that.
Oh, man.
That was...
Oh, man. You want to point out the Chase U segments, but you don't want to talk about the Adam Cole segment? I see your game.
Well, this is the first NXT I've watched probably since like Seth was on it, and I'm talking about when he came back. I'm talking about when he was NXT champion, and
Dang, 11 years, huh?
yeah, I don't know.
11 years.
Well, a lot has changed, and it certainly has with this backstage segment. Felt like I had to go to a certain website in an incognito browser to watch it.
Oh, come on. Wasn't it?
It was bad, Ryan.
I agree, but this is what NXT does now.
Why? It's the way the camera shoots it too. It makes it so much worse.
Yeah, it feels like an independent film, like it's shot, and then there's background music, which makes it feel more fake. It feels like a sitcom more than anything when they got the background music going.
And then he started like dogging them out too, and they were, I don't know. It was
there.
It was here.
Yeah, it was there.
This and the Adam Cole segment were very on par with each other.
Did you like Andre Chase cursing?
No, especially it just felt very weird.
Of course.
Yeah, especially too when they blur it out, and it's a pre-tape, like a very obviously scripted pre-tape.
Yeah.
I don't know. But really what we all came for, Braun Breaker managed by Paul Heyman versus Carmelo Hayes managed by John Cena. I gotta say, right off the top, I think Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman is such a natural fit. You already touched on this a little bit earlier in the show, but I'm really excited once the Tribal Chief stuff is over, and I'm sure Brock retires. I think Paul's still going to be there, and I think Braun Breaker is the next guy that Paul can take up under his wing and make a WrestleMania main eventer 10 times over with.
Yeah, he has intensity, and his stuff in the ring is great. I can see the potential with promos. It's not quite there, but it's almost there. He maybe another year or two, he'll be a main event guy. But I don't hate that they haven't brought him up yet.
Yeah, I know I've asked you about it for a while, but while watching this, I kind of agreed with you. I don't think he's definitely not well-rounded completely. Like, he's got some things to work on, obviously the promos. He sounds a lot like his uncle, but I think it's good that they went ahead and turned him heel. I think that's something they waited way too long with Roman to do. I know he was heel with the Shield, but he was never a solo heel guy.
Yeah.
I think Braun getting both aspects of that early on is going to be way better for him, because I'm pretty sure he's getting molded to be the next Roman. And through everything he's learning, I think it'll be a better fit than when they pulled Roman up.
You think Theory is not going to be the next guy? You think it's going to be Braun?
I think it'll be 1A, 1B. I think Braun, to me, it just is better in the ring, and he's more gravitating.
Well, there's one guy that you're forgetting about, Micah. I think and we all know who I'm talking about here, and that's Lexis King. And if you don't have Lexis King as your next up, you're not a pro wrestling fan, Micah. Did you see that great backstage segment he had? Oh, Lexis King.
I must have skipped over it. No, I really didn't see
Oh,
it.
come on, Mike. I threw you the lob and you didn't even watch. Yeah, he had a backstage segment. He's talking about how I'm sure you've seen the segment.
I saw like a picture of it online, and I heard the name. I
Oh
thought it
man, you didn't
was.
even see the segment. Okay, well, I'll try to do my best to explain to it real quick because we didn't. He was playing old highlights of Brian Pillman on the TV, just like his first promo package, and then he was talking about he tried to escape the name Brian Pillman because he doesn't know that man. He never met that man. Well, he did meet him, but he was like 4 years old when he died. So he did all he could to run away from the wrestling business, but he always knew deep down that he would come back. And since he didn't know his dad, he refused to use his dad's last name. So now he would be adopting the new last name of the person that did raise him, King. And he would be known as Lexis King now.
Can you buy that on the marquee of WrestleMania?
I don't think it's egregious. I mean, it is a tribute to his sister that passed away and his mom that passed away. It's not a terrible name. Yeah.
I just don't like Lexus because it makes me think of Alexis, and then it's like, if a girl was named Alexis King, okay, but Lexus King for a dude, I don't know.
Come on, give it a shot.
Why couldn't he be Brian King?
Well, he doesn't want to use his dad's name at all. He didn't know him.
I don't know. I think they could have went with a better first name. It kind of reeks of WWE naming.
Bro, he came up with the name himself.
Well, yeah, but doesn't it sound like, I don't know, what's that girl that's facing Becky Lynch at the next pay-per-view?
Blair Davenport?
No, Lyra Valkyria or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I forgot.
Is that a real name?
That's her name.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't love it. I mean, I like Brian Pillman Jr. I think I was higher on him than most people were when he was in AEW, but why can't he just be Brian Pillman Jr.? I can buy that on the marquee.
Well, you don't want to be thinking of his dad. He wants to be his own person.
It's the same reason they should have just named him Braun Steiner.
Yeah, you'd be thinking of his dad, Micah. Or his uncle.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
You want to be?
They named her Charlotte Flair.
A lot of guys, when they're named a junior or got the same last name as their father, they are put into a box and they can never escape that box because, oh man, your dad would have hit it this way, or your dad would have did that promo this way. It's not everybody can be Randy Orton. For every Randy Orton, there's a Bruno Sammartino Jr., which I think is his son. His son did wrestle WWE. You know what I'm saying, Micah? For every Bill Watts,
I get you.
Every Bill Watts, there's a, what was his son's name? What's Bill Watts' son's name?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, you know my point, man.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I personally don't love the name, but I'll see where they go, and also lose the painted on beard.
Oh, Garrett Bischoff is another one. I mean, come on now.
Oh. Well, yeah, but let's not act like Bischoff was an actual wrestler.
But he was a big name, though. I mean, it's hard when you got the same last name or first name as your father, and they were a big deal in the wrestling industry.
Well, other than that, for the Braun Breaker Carmelo match, I got a couple things here. I thought it was a rough hang up coming off the top. I think that Braun was going for like a sit out face buster, but I really don't know.
I think he was.
Did you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think he was going for his Frankensteiner from the top rope, but they were on the different pages, and he hit him with a face buster.
Yeah, I don't know. And he came off weird too. He like landed on his hip or something. It was weird.
Yeah, that Frankensteiner he usually does is clean, but when you're at the top rope and you're going against a smaller guy, there's not a lot. The base to do that move is not as strong on the top rope,
Yeah, I guess you got a good point. I didn't think about it like that. If that's what he was going for. But overall, I thought it was a solid match. I don't think it was their best work per se. But for a TV match, it wasn't anything crazy. I don't think it was any better than Danielson versus Swerve, but
Nah.
it was a good main event. At the end, he started to beat up Carmelo and basically say that he was the top dog. And then Undertaker came out on his motorcycle, choke slammed him, basically said, you might think you're the top dog, but you'll never beat this top dog or something like that. But
I think that was a subtle shot to AEW.
Oh, I didn't even think about it like that, but it might have been.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah, that was really the story of the match. Undertaker coming out.
Yeah, and I don't care what anybody says. I will always love Undertaker because people online were like, "Oh my god, this stinks."
They said that.
Yeah, man. I liked it. I don't care. I was sports entertained.
I liked Undertaker coming. I'm still a Taker fan, but he has a lot of controversial views online now. And everybody knows if you're a conservative, you get buried online. So,
well,
I'm just saying, man, you got to call a spade a spade.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying, to me, who cares? I don't care really the person you are, unless you're just like a hateful person online. Like there's actual there's actual like child molesters and like rapists in the wrestling industry.
Yeah,
Undertaker's a good dude.
Yeah, I care more about the on-screen product than what he's doing on his off time. Exactly. As long as he's not diddling kids, I don't care. Man. I don't care.
Looking at you, Jerry the King Lawler.
It looked bad when Carmelo was holding his hand up right beside Undertaker.
Yeah.
Make-A-Wish kid.
Oh man. We were just talking about too, because he is small and it didn't help.
Nah, it looked like somebody's kid jumped the barrier or jumped the barricade and started posing with Undertaker.
I mean, and Taker's a big dude, but I don't know that was the shot that they should have went with. Maybe Carmelo should have been on like the top rope and Taker could have stood beside him or something.
Top rope. Undertaker still would have towered over him.
Oh man. He goes to choke slam him off the top and they're just eye level. I will say the choke slam itself, Braun made that freaking choke slam. I saw a clip that it was like this was 20 years apart. You remember when Taker choke slam Brock? Yeah,
Brock jumped out the building. He had some ups. Yeah. He had some ups in his youth.
Freaking freak athlete, man. But I thought Braun kind of did the same thing. Like he really made it, and I don't give a crap what anybody says, man. I thought it was cool. I still like Undertaker anytime he comes out.
Yeah, and the ratings showed that because they had 300 or 400,000 more viewers than AEW had. So Undertaker's still a big draw in 2023, more than Adam Copeland.
Well, I think you'd either have to be blind, deaf, or mute to not understand that, or not think the Undertaker was a bigger draw all the time.
Or an AEW fan. They're delusional.
Well, But overall, I'm not going to lie. I don't know. It's hard. I want to say that I enjoyed Dynamite more.
Okay, you're alone there, buddy. I enjoy NXT more. I thought the star power is way in the favor of NXT, and I'm more of a sizzle guy than a state. You can either have a great presentation which NXT did, or you can have great matches, which Dynamite had. And I'm more of a great presentation guy. It was a lot of star power in NXT.
I agree. I just felt like there was a little more substance on Dynamite, which obviously makes sense because that was their main roster show. But the Braun Breaker Mello match, like it did have implications, but everything else on here kind of just felt thrown together. I mean, Asuka and Roxanne was okay. I didn't have any takeaways, but on the other show, I don't know, it was Edge's debut match. I felt like the matches meant more, but obviously the star power on NXT was better.
Yeah, and this was a developmental show.
You said it wasn't a developmental show?
This was a developmental show, so we got to give these guys. I mean, Braun Breaker's been wrestling for 2 years, so I mean, it's only so much they can do in the ring right now.
I mean, yeah, I agree, but
Roxanne's been wrestling for what, 3 years? I mean,
something like that.
I mean, come on now, Micah. This was developmental. It's the G League right here when they had cameos from LeBron and Chris Paul, and AEW is supposedly, the NBA, and they couldn't outdraw the G League.
Well, they were preempted, I will say.
Oh, man. I don't care. They still didn't outdraw the G League.
Well, either way, I hope we can outdraw the G League. But in order to do that, you got to share us with your friends. So make sure to share our link tree. It'll be out below. Make sure to subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast. Again, once you finish this episode, go make sure to check out our giveaway. It's in our social media. You can follow the link tree below to take you to our social media. Follow us for exclusive updates. Go enter that giveaway. Get yourself $30 for free to any pro wrestling shop. Get your t-shirt, collectible, action figure, whatever. That's up to you. We're just going to give you the $30. And make sure to join us back next week. We're now caught up, so we'll be back on regular scheduling. Bear with us. We're still on completely opposite schedules right now, but this next month it'll be fixed, so everything should be back to order by then. But we appreciate you listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope you have a great rest of your week. It has been an episode for sure. Thank you. Have a good one.